So I wouldn't have, but yeah, she's ill, and so she wasn't gonna
We
be
got
there.
everybody.
Scribble my notes on there.
Go by next door.
Just like it. Just like it, scribble the notes on
Next
there.
The front page.
Next to the notes that
Gotta have that.
that we're talking about, so if somebody gets up, I can scribble notes right next to what they're saying.
Yeah,
I put it here, I don't have reference.
well,
Where
yeah,
it's
it was a little early.
100% associated with.
That's true.
An outfit.
That I can do. I'm trying to find it on a cell phone. That's all I heard.
Yeah,
She said, next meeting, ready?
Please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Meeting of the Wahoo City Council, 7:00 p.m., December 12th. Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall. More information is available at the city office if you need. There's no proclamations, but let's do roll call.
Stuart Creechy.
Here.
Shane Sweet.
Here.
Carl Warford.
Here.
Ryan Diaz.
Here.
Chris Raffle.
Here.
Patrick Nagel.
Here.
Okay, anybody in the audience that wants to speak to something that's not on the agenda? Don't see anybody, so we will move forward. Our department head report for tonight is the street superintendent, Joe.
Good evening.
Thank you.
So I don't have a lot to report since the last time I met with you guys, but threw a little extra stuff in here with our cemetery and stuff just to give you guys a little rundown. But street crews have been out handling seasonal tasks, street sweeping, filling potholes, trimming right-of-way trees, setting up, repairing snowplow equipment. Hopefully we don't have to use that much this year. We're doing good so far. Cleaning up and restructuring the city tree dump. Sure you're all aware we had our leaf pile start on fire last week, and so good, bad, we kind of took advantage of it and went in there and just started kind of cleaning stuff up.
What was
Still
the cause of that?
smoldering. It probably will burn until we get some moisture.
What was the cause of that?
We have no idea. It was one little hot spot that was in it, and we called the fire department and told them about it, and basically they said just leave it be, and then directions changed, that wind picked up that day, and they said, well, let's pull it out. So we pulled it out, and then that next morning the wind got heavier and it kind of spread, and so we kind of built a berm all the way around it so everything was kind of safe, and it's still smoldering. It's probably going to burn for a month or two, I'm guessing. Over the past 3 months, we've completed multiple concrete jobs around town. We hired a contractor to come in and do some pouring for us, but we did all the tear out and everything. 5th and Maple, there was a double panel replacement there. We finished up 6th and Laurel Ave. We had a triple panel replacement over there. And then we completed the install of the sidewalk and culvert connecting North Sycamore Street behind the walking trail behind JEO. In October, crews were out collecting manhole flow and condition data to support the JEO downtown water basin study. Basically, we went around and we popped every manhole in the downtown area, took rim to flow elevations, kind of did a little inspection of each manhole, and just basic numbers and stuff of those. And now JEO is going to come in and do the full water study, and then we also TV'd all the line segments down there and manholes. So we're going to meet this week with all that information and hopefully put it all together and see what our future repairs and stuff are going to look like. It'd be very interesting to see. But believe it or not, they look better than we thought they would. But there are some areas that are going to need some repairs. So we currently have 3 new employees. We just started with this over the past 3 months. We've made safety and training a high priority within our team. On Friday mornings, we have some kind of training course, whether it's heavy equipment training, OSHA trench safety, confined space, temporary traffic control. We're even throwing in some communication with the public. I would really like to invest in our guys and kind of take them out of their comfort zone and just put them in position to be just better communicators within the public, and I hope that would help everybody. I mean, I'd like for them to be able to answer questions when a homeowner says, hey, what's going on with my street? This is sinking or settling, or they have an issue, they're able to answer those questions. So, cemetery report, burials to date, this is as of Friday, we had 38 burials in 23, 36 foundations poured, and we've been focusing a lot on our cemeteries, on the ground maintenance, and kind of just cleaning everything up. Leveling settled graves, you'll see a lot of old graves that have settled over the years. We're bringing in dirt, leveling those out, getting grass seed down on them. Repairing and grading the roads, trimming trees, and repairing and replacing all the old hydrants in all the cemeteries. And our cemetery committee meeting hasn't met in a while. Right now we're working on our drill samples. We're gonna check the dirt to see which directions we can go in with our expansion. So we plan on probably meet in March when we do the next street committee meeting. Meet with the cemetery committee at that time as well. So, other than that, if anybody's got any questions, that's what I got.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thanks,
So this good weather, as long as we have this good weather, it's really nice because this is our kind of our slow time of the year, so we can focus on our equipment maintenance and training and just getting everything up to speed. If it snows, we're busy, but if it's not snowing, it's wonderful, so.
Well, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, this is one of our new employees, Jason Blackwell.
Hi, Jason.
He's a good guy to have on hand, so glad to have him.
What do you do? What do you got you doing?
Equipment operation, yeah, just doing
You get to drive the big stuff around?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I said I do have a.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome aboard, thank you.
Okay, Melissa, administrator report.
Not a ton to present to you. Over the last couple of weeks, we have had our auditors in the office. They finished their last day of field work today. They were in the office 2 weeks last week. I attended the planning commission last Thursday night where we had Kevin Anderson with JEO reviewed information about planned unit developments, which that commonly called PUDs, which is something that we're interested in possibly adding to our zoning regulations. It provides a scope, a boundary for sort of overlaying different zoning districts to allow for a little bit more creativity in laying out development. So we can get into that, but if you're interested in Google it, dig into it a little bit and see what it's all about. Wilmer Ridge, final punch list items are wrapping up. I'm working on final costs and trying to assemble information for the calculation of special assessments. North Highlands Phase 2, we have a hearing on the agenda tonight as well. We will also have a hearing at our next meeting, and then I hope to have plans and specs come to you for final approval and authorize calling for bids for that project. As Joe mentioned, Street Department's going to be meeting with representatives from Johnson Services. I'm kind of excited about seeing this because they are using some new technology to evaluate the videos that they took. They're using AI to evaluate that, so I'm kind of excited to see those results. And the reason why we did this now is not only is it information that we need as we move forward with downtown and the street work, but it's also going to help us make sure we're addressing any storm sewer issues that need to be addressed before the water project or as part of the water project as that gets going. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be, primarily am going to be working on an onboarding process for a new feature of G-Works. So G-Works is the asset The platform we use for asset management and basically display of the information, it holds all of the data. It's not something that, we have a whole lot more behind a login than what you see on the public side website, but there's two features that we're gonna be adding. There's an operations feature, which is gonna make work orders on the back side, on our side, a little bit easier to handle, but there's a front-facing, it's a front desk application that's gonna face, that'll be part of our website, that'll allow people to submit for licenses, to submit information for permits, or not information, fill out the form for permits, and then on the backside, there's a workflow for that for Travis to go through and approve, and we will also begin accepting credit card payments with that system, so kind of excited about that. The fee, we already, the utilities and the city together share in the fee for the mapping hub, which is gonna change just a little bit, but adding these other two features is only going to be about, I don't know, between $1,000 and $1,500 additional per year to both of us, so kind of excited about that. Christina said Chromebooks will be ready for you hopefully at the next council meeting, and then we're in the process of updating our server at City Hall. It's at least 10 years old, so we're going to be moving to a cloud-based application, which that's, for some of us older people, that's a little bit of a hurdle. So, anyway, any questions?
Who's the IT provider?
Red Eye Tech. We have worked with them for several years, and so.
Are they providing the cloud, or what storage platform are you using? You going to like AWS or
Not AWS.
not AWS?
It's
Okay.
all Microsoft based.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm.
All right. Just curious.
Thank
Not
you.
replacing the server though.
What?
Not
No, we're
replacing
not.
it.
There will be no, very minimal physical hardware at City Hall, so.
Okay.
Long run is cheaper. Long run is cheaper.
Next item, business is the reorganization of the council. Several items to review. The first one is the election of the president of the council. Is there anyone volunteering, or is there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Stu.
You would like to.
I would
If
second
he's okay
that.
with that.
I'll second that.
Is there any other nominations? Stuart,
That was
would-
fast. Yeah.
I'll
You got
ask
anybody
you,
to
will
nominate,
you
Stuart?
accept
I
that?
will accept that, yeah.
Okay. Roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Creachy,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Raffle,
Yes.
Nagel.
Yes.
And as a reminder, just because I don't think Shane's here since we've done that, but the big thing is in Jerry's absence, then the president will serve. And then also as president, Stu usually is the hearing officer for nuisance claims, those sorts of things. We
That's a
don't get
treat.
lot of
That is a real
Yeah.
treat.
That's another
You see
important
what
part of
you're-
these
yes.
affairs.
Just
Okay.
Yeah, at least there's no dogs to talk about.
The next
Wanna take
item
it
is
back?
approval of mayor's appointments to the following positions. Each one of these has presented documents. The fire department has sent a document in reappointing Cody Hall for the chief. Is there any questions on that from anybody? Two representatives from the fire department. Any comments?
My only comment is I think Cody does a fantastic job. He's very forward thinking. He has us on the right track. We're in good hands.
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call.
We get 'em.
I'll make the motion that we accept the nomination.
Okay. Sorry about that. I was-
We have to do all three individually? Okay.
Any comments? Roll call.
Raffle,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Yes.
2B, street superintendent pursuant to the County Highway and City Street Superintendent's Act of the state of Nebraska. Steve Farr has been our representative on that. People that are on the street committee, any comments?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second.
second. Roll call.
Nagel.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Warford.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
And the city engineer, I read that one, but I'm not sure all the details of it, but
So the city engineer is just essentially who we turn to for assistance in our projects. If we have special projects where we're under contract, that's open to. We're not under any obligation to contract with JEO or anything in particular, but they are who we would turn to as city engineer.
I would move to approve JEO as city engineer.
Second.
comments? Roll call.
Ideas.
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Nagel.
Yes.
Warford.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Number 3, approval of city attorney's retainer agreement. It was written by an attorney, so it's fairly long.
I think it's identical to what it usually is, except for I think we increased the monthly retainer from $850 to $950 a month.
Yeah.
I think everything else is the same.
And just for your, Stuart asked this question, that is split between city council, board of public works, and the airport authority. We each pay a share for the monthly fee.
I know we've had a lot of activity and a lot of, at least phone calls that, and a few contracts that you've written up and worked on behalf of the city, so. I think the relationship has been very good with Joe and Maureen, and the firm, so.
No, I think we definitely get our money's worth. I appreciate the work that's been done. I work with some Lincoln and Omaha law firms on occasion, and they charge a lot more than this. So I make a motion to approve. Don't let them quit. He's gonna raise the raise next year.
They have to commute, I do not.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Roll call.
Krejci.
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Warford.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Nagel.
Yes.
4, designate method by which reasonable advance published notice of the time and place of each meeting to the city council is to be given by the clerk, established agenda, deadline, and so forth. As of right now, we still have the newspaper. I think that's a little bit subject, but I'm assuming that's still the one vehicle we have, plus our posting places, so.
We post in 3 public places as well as on our website on the Friday before council.
And our agenda,
Deadline is the Thursday before council. The end of the day, Thursday before council.
Any comments?
I think that's all reasonable. If we were to come up with a different way of the public notices, if we don't have the newspaper, what would be an alternative? Like a neighboring newspaper, or?
we currently don't publish the notice of meeting in the newspaper.
Well, besides just the meeting notice, but any other advanced public notices that need to go to the paper.
Yeah.
Jerry said that right now we have the paper. What would be an alternative when we don't?
Yeah, unfortunately, anything that requires a publication, we would still have to be using a newspaper, but it can be any newspaper of regular circulation. So
And
that hypothetically could be World Herald, Lincoln Journal Star, Omaha Daily Record, those sort of things.
Sure.
there is conversation on the legislative side about how this will be addressed, because unfortunately, sooner or later, it probably will happen. The Nebraska Press Association already has a database online where all of the public record items, the public notices and such are, you can sort by county or by city and access all of those already. And that when we submit a public notice to the newspaper, it automatically goes on there.
Okay. Well, I guess we stay where we are.
Yes,
basically.
yeah.
So if there's a motion for that effect,
So moved.
I'll second that.
okay? Questions? Roll call.
Warford.
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Nagel.
Yes.
Ideas.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Number 5, designation of depository for the city of Wahoo, designation of authorized persons on accounts held by the city of Wahoo, the process of approval of claims presented to the city of Wahoo for payment. One of the things as far as approvals, in the past, this council did not see the claims. I don't know if it was this year or the past, maybe it's been a full year. I now, after the council approves them, I try to get in the next day and sign the checks, and Melissa signs the checks. Periodically, somebody else, you can sign, yes.
We have 4 authorized signers on the city's account. The mayor, me, the clerk, and HR treasurer. It requires 2 signatures for any withdrawal out of the account. The city funds are currently held with Wahoo State Bank. Utility funds are, and park and recreation funds are with First Bank of Nebraska. And so I'm not asking for any change, but that's something we're supposed to be approving every year.
Motion to approve?
A second?
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Creachy?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Rappel?
Yes.
Ideas?
Yes.
Warford?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda, the normal items on there, 1 pay application, if there's any questions, but the details are there. And the approval of the claims, they were listed in your packet.
I motion to approve the consent.
The payout, that's not the final though, right? There's still one more to make.
No, there's one more.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Roll call.
Warford?
Yes.
Creachy?
Yes.
Ideas?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Rappel?
Yes.
Next item is public hearing and associated action items. Hearing on the resolution of necessity establishing stormwater district number 2023-01 and sanitary sewer district number 2023-01.
If you recall, we previously introduced this resolution indicating that we were going to create these districts. Then a notice was published in the newspaper giving anyone who object to the creation of these districts the opportunity to file that objection, and we have not received any. So it would be appropriate to move forward with.
This is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the public that has any questions or comments on it.
And it's for the North Highlands sewer.
Phase
Phase
2.
Phase 2.
Yes.
Anyone have any comments from the audience on this resolution?
Motion to close the public hearing?
Okay,
Second?
roll call.
Creachy?
Yes.
Ideas?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Rappel?
Yes.
Warford?
Yes.
Okay, approval of the resolution previously introduced on 14th of November. Is there a
Is the
motion?
motion to introduce?
We actually just need the roll call, so
I don't remember.
that's okay.
I just. Creachy?
It's
Yes.
processed.
Creachy?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Warford?
Yes.
Ideas?
Yes.
Rappel?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Okay, I guess I didn't open it up a public hearing. Approval of the resolution 2023-20, signing of the year-end certification of the street department superintendent.
Oh, we have another.
Oh, I jumped down,
Yeah.
that's why I was on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nope, still
excuse
too
me.
far.
The budget.
Yeah, a
No.
public hearing
Yeah.
on the 2024 budget for the Department of Public Works. If you want to present it, and then if anybody from the public council
You
wants
didn't
to
fit
speak
that on
to
your
it.
laptop.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Johnson, thank you,
That
City
was for the
Council,
Board of
for
Public Works.
letting me come speak to you tonight. On November 29th, the Board of Public Works, we had our annual budget review, and we discussed in great detail where we see the Wahoo Utilities going in 2024 and what we want to accomplish with our budget. It's a guidance for where we want to go and what we want to get done. So, you know, I'll be a little more high level, I do appreciate Stuart and those of you that were able to make it, obviously Ryan and Chris, to our Board of Public Works meeting where we dove into the budget. You know, on the big side of things, you know, we're looking at over $15 million in revenue and over $16 million in expenditures, and obviously there's a difference there, right? And a lot of that is driven by our large capital projects we want to try and get done in 2024. Some of those projects are dependent on the natural gas side, specifically on funding from potential grants that we hope to receive for replacement of natural gas pipelines. On the revenues, you know, we do utilize 3-year actuals to try and project out. As much as, you know, it really is weather that drives a lot of our revenues that we make on the utility side, on the electric, on the natural gas, on the water, are very much weather dependent. This last summer was a very dry summer, which meant good revenues for water. Meant some higher revenues for electric, but it also meant lower revenues for gas, and that it's been a very warm fall here in 23. So all those things were taken into consideration in our budget. I'll just speak on the revenue side also very briefly, that we also had a discussion, and the Board of Public Works have moved forward with getting ready to hear what we will propose for rate increases on all 4 utilities. That was built into our budget. We had some of those early projections from the company that we had hired to do a cost of service study. As we've been talking for many years, especially on that water side, we were gearing up for some very large projects. Melissa alluded to the downtown water project. Even though the federal government wants to give me more gray hairs in my beard, with their regulation changing left and right, it does look like we're going to be able to bid this project for construction in 2024, and we should be able to the requirements be met. But just very high level, in January we will bring the formal ordinances with the changes to rate classes. But we are looking at a 4% increase on electric, 4% on natural gas. But what I'm very happy to report is that through this rate study, we're only looking at a 2% rate increase on water and 3% on sewer. So some of those very aggressive rate increases we took last year in 2022 and that went into effect here in 23, on the water side, that we really seen that large shortfall coming when it came time to our debt service that we'll be seeing from these loans. As great as they are, right? You know, $5 million, only having to pay back $3 million of it. That still is a debt service that we have to be able to be prepared for and be able to meet. And we believe we can meet that along with other goals and other capital projects in the water department if we can look at about a 2% rate increase. Overall, what does that look like to the average residential customer here in Wahoo? Your average customer should see about a $7.78 increase in their bill. And that should be, you know, across all 4 utilities. So on their water side, they really should only see a 50-cent rate increase from that. And we'll dive into the details of that when that ordinance comes to you. But I do want to just let the council know that to expect to see that in January, and that really we're expecting those rate increases to help straighten out the budget or help with balancing the budget. But the projects, you know, we can dive into them, but there's a lot of them, right? Some of them are unique. If you turn to the electric department, AMI projects, you guys are familiar. We've been waiting on a lot of material for that. We should be able to, that's a key word here, receive the material to finish that project out in 2024. North Highlands Phase 2, that's really not all of what we'll need for North Highlands Phase 2. We expect some of the material to take until 2025 to receive. Wilmer Ridge, that's a lot of that electric material that we're waiting on that we'll not receive until after the first of the year, so we can bring electricity to Wilmer Ridge. And same with the transformer inventory. There's a good chunk of that was ordered a year and a half ago, and we're hoping to receive it in January. So post-COVID lead times and supply chains have never improved on the electric side. It's disheartening I think it's a national issue that is just kind of flying under the radar. You know, if, as much as we want to have a lot of expansion and economic growth in this country, unless you can have electricity for people to do that, you got to have transformers to do it. So we are looking at a power plant feasibility study, load control devices, and finishing up that breaker upgrades to our light plant substation. Again, that's a project that should have been completed in fall of 2022, but the contractor has been less than responsive, and so we are pursuing some ways to remedy that. I guess I'll probably leave it at that. And then again, the only equipment on the electric department we're looking at is a vehicle. As we turn the page to the water department, unless there's questions on the electric side of things. As we turn to the water department, the AMI project, again, downtown Orange Street, you can see that's the bulk of our budget, is that large $3.5 million project that we're gonna replace over 33 blocks of water main and all the service lines that are connected to that. We're gonna be making a lot of improvements to the service lines and the way water is fed into downtown basements and businesses. That is a very vital, important project for Wahoo. I think it's a 100-year project, right, that we need to make that investment. It's going to be very disruptive to our community when we do it. And I want to be clear that we want to mitigate that as much as possible, but at a certain point, digging holes in downtown Wahoo is not going to be fun for anybody. So we're going to do our best to execute that project, and I have the utmost respect and appreciation of JEO and the way they're going to help us through that project. Looking at a building addition for our wastewater plant, so for storage of some equipment down at the wastewater plant for the water and wastewater equipment, North Highlands Phase 2, and the West Loop project. As a reminder of what that is, this is just the design dollars for that. We're bringing utilities from out by the hospital, following the 4-lane all the way, probably stop at 15th Street. I think we've run into some hurdles there, and we're going to turn it and head it back towards town and loop our electric, our natural gas, and our water. We have obtained, for that stretch that I'm speaking of, we have obtained all the easements, and all the land acquisition has occurred. So we're hoping to finalize design here and bid the project for construction in 2025. That is an extremely important project for the overall system resilience and redundancy. We're not doing that for any economic reasons. We're doing that just as it was a glaring hole that was kind of all three of those different departments when we did our master planning identified the south part of Wahoo's all on a radial feed, both in electric, water, and gas. So if we can get a second feed going there that can both serve to get water to and from the south part of town. Same with electric, as our hospital is one of our most important customers in our community is out there. We want to build up that resiliency. A big investment, that'll probably be a $5 million investment when it's all said and done between all three of those utilities. But again, another one of those extremely important long-term planning projects. On the wastewater department, again, you'll see some things that we've kind of gotten into a nice continual sewer lining that we spoke about. Johnson Services, they're a great partner with Wahoo. They're a great partner to many utilities across the state of Nebraska. But I want to put into a little perspective of what that really accomplishes. As opposed to just digging up and replacing these pipes, we're sometimes able to do it for dimes on the dollar. We can just put in this liner inside of these sewers and extend their useful life by 100 years. And in some cases, we're talking in alleys where they're 11 foot wide and we've got water main and gas main, and it's just not quite big enough to even be able to, it would be a real pain in the neck, very expensive to replace. So it's a tremendous investment we've been making. We budget about $130,000 a year on that project. And so again, a continued investment. You'll see three different projects there for design that we're looking at. On the water side, we've talked a lot about, because we had some shovel-ready projects there with the downtown water project with that funding. On the sewer, we have a lot of projects identified as part of our our master planning, and as you guys recall, when you approved that loan, the SRF loan for $4.7 million, we have that 0% loan funding available to make these improvements. They're a little more strict on when you can design those projects, so we had to go through some of that RFQ process. And we also didn't want to stack too many projects on top of each other. So we really wanted to wait to start design and building of some of these sewer projects after some of the water projects had kind of taken off, because we are a small town and we are limited on how much we want to tear it up at one time. So we want to make those right investments. And some of these investments, like bringing Continental Estates, and when I say Continental Estates, I think of that whole area. That would include, is it City View? City View also down there, and then just to the east of City View, there's a couple houses also. That's technically a different subdivision, but that whole section will be brought with some pressure sewer, like we've served for Country Club Acres and Cook Sewer. So having it available, not making those current residents, immediately connect to sanitary sewer, but upon failure of their septic systems, they will be required to connect at that time. And then just some other smaller items. On the gas side of things, AMI, and then that $600,000 Bear Steel project, we did apply for $2.3 million in grants for replacement from PHMSA, which is the National Pipeline Hazardous Material Association or Administration. That we applied for that funding. If we're to receive that grant, that will be a trigger moment for us to start replacing some of these gas mains. And so we have a lot of bare steel gas main. It's our most fragile or most likely to leak gas main. It's our oldest infrastructure in the ground. So it's time to replace it, but we were really hoping to maximize what we wanted to get done with this unprecedented amount of funding available, but we'll just see how our grant application turns out. So I was very happy with the process that we received from HDR. They helped us put that grant application together, and they did a tremendous job. And so, overall you'll see it's a busy year, 2024, a lot of stuff we've been waiting for funding, waiting, and it's time to finally pull the trigger. And so a lot of moving parts. This budget was a complicated one to put together, but I feel really good about it. I feel like we're executing a lot of things that need to be done for the investment in our infrastructure. The benefit of being a public utility is we're not here to make profits. The revenues we make need to be reinvested into our infrastructure, and so we can always continue to provide that affordable, safe, and reliable utilities that make Nebraska stand out amongst all our peers, because we have these public utilities. And Wahoo, above all, and the consultant who did our rate study did say this, that Wahoo is the example, right? We stand above a lot of them with our affordability of our rates and what we are doing these days with our investment. So I think we're a leader community, and so I do feel very proud of the staff that we have. We have great people at both City Hall and throughout all of our departments. We have a lot of very good and capable employees now that are really doing a good job. So I hope that if you have any questions, please ask, because it's a lot of information, and I don't want it to just get kind of washed over. So if you have questions, please ask of the budget.
Your consultant at JK Energy, it was very interesting to listen to, but when you say we stood out, you mean, he went almost department by department and analyzed, and Wahoo did very well in almost every category in what cost and
Yes, right.
maintenance, and it was nice to listen to.
It was nice to hear. Yeah,
Yes.
and I can say those things, but it means more coming from someone from the outside that really does have that objective, side of what Wahoo's doing. And and even though these rate increases are very marginal, I don't take those, and again, we'll formally approve. Not obviously the council has to formally approve them, but as we discuss them, I don't take them lightly, right? I know that right now in the world, cost of living just keeps going up and up. And $7 doesn't sound like much. That does affect certain people in our community worse than others. So we want to do what we can to always ensure we are being as affordable as possible without sacrificing that investment we need to make into our infrastructure for safety and reliability.
Okay, I'll open it up to the public. Is there any comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, I would make one comment. It will be, and this is a general statement. You've heard the complexity of city government. Think about it, if we have a consumption tax and there's no property tax or no sales tax, those types of things. Think about that if you're asked, related to the city situation. Okay, if there's no comment,
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
okay,
I'll second.
roll call.
Rappel?
Yes.
Ideas?
Yes.
Warford?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Calucci?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Okay, 2A, adoption of the 2023 budget as recommended by the Board of Public Works. Is there a motion for that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any questions? Roll call.
Warford?
Yes.
Sweet?
Yes.
Calucci?
Yes.
Nagel?
Yes.
Ideas?
Yes.
Rappel?
Yes.
Action items not requiring a public hearing. Number 1, consideration of an insurance agent of record effective January 1, 2024 as requested by Mike Hancock. Mike is here. Come forward. I think everybody knows you, but
Good evening, guys. Last meeting, we had the opportunity to speak under the agenda items, so I want to give a little backdrop of who we are, okay? So, Inspro, we've been around for 33 years as Inspro. Prior to that, we were Don Peter Associates here in Wahoo. So, right now, if you think about us, is because the line has been used, we're not local. I mean, it's not local anymore, we want to stay local. In 2020, we were purchased by Marsh McLennan Agencies out of New York. They are the largest broker in the world. They seek insurance companies that fit the model, how they want to grow. We fit the model, went through the whole process, and I'm 3 years into this, and I was an owner of Inspro. Now I'm the senior vice president of Wahoo's location. Nothing's changed. I have 11 employees in our office, 9 of which live in this community, own a house. Kids go to schools here. We are local, and I can tell you what, guys, you know as well as I know. There are other businesses in town that may not be owned locally anymore, but I consider them local. And so, when I heard that last week from my brother, which is, he has every right. He's local too. He's a Wahoo guy. I have no issues with it. I just want to let you guys understand is the approach we take it with us at Inspro and MMA is it's a team approach. These two, there's people back here are part of my team. I write lots of group around, not just Wahoo, lots of group all over the state. Would you say, Brandon? Yeah. And just because I necessarily aren't on the day-to-day stuff, but anything on a renewal, any correspondence, I'm in the email. So when I mean is I'm a part of it. We're local. We're not going anywhere. We've wrote this since 2011. Melissa, is that right? 11? I think so, isn't it? And I truly believe I can ask Melissa, Buffy, whoever. Have you ever had any concerns or questions about how we do business and how we present ourselves to you guys as employees, from the employee meetings to questions that they just come see us? I mean, they come direct to my office, they'll call me, and if I don't know the answer, we'll find out the answer. But there's a team approach to whatever we do. So, all I'm asking, I'm telling you is, we are local. We're not going anywhere. You guys all know me. I mean, I'm a member of the community. Obviously, I'm not in the community, but I live on the outskirts. I have lots of properties. I'm fully invested in this community. I love the fact that we're doing the things we're doing in this community. So, Brandon, I think you wanted to maybe discuss a little bit about what,
Well,
because we didn't get an opportunity at the last meeting to discuss more in general. We were just kind of like, here's the renewal, this is where we're at. Brandon, you want to go ahead and...
yeah, I was a little bit surprised when we, last month when we presented.
what's your full name?
My name's Brandon Bender, and I'm also a senior vice president with Inspro. I also too was a shareholder. So even though I don't live in town, technically I own part of the agency here prior to us selling the Marshall McLennan agency. And my background is I do have 20+ years of experience in the employee benefits arena. I come from a small town, Nebraska City. We're in the same conference now with at least Wahoo Public, so you guys get to beat us a lot of times, which is a little uncomfortable when I have to come to town for meetings. I just wanted to point out, I was asked, Mike asked me 3 years ago to come in and help consult as far as employee health and benefits. Not only do I have my, and Mike's license, I'm licensed in employee health and benefits, but I'm also a licensed consultant. I also serve, or I don't serve, but I'm a member of our health underwriters organization in Nebraska and also nationally. And Jan, have you been on since 2011? So Jan's been your account manager, running the day-to-day as far as claims questions, billings questions, ads, terms, and all of that. So she's really the day-to-day person that does most of the heavy lifting on this. So
We asked her to get up and speak, and she said, I'm good.
So I guess the only thing I really wanted to point out is, at least since I was asked to help out, is I think my first year we had a 0% increase with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Obviously last year, which was a December 1st, 2022 renewal with Blue Cross, was not good. And we did have to go to market at that time. We did bring in, I thought, a really good solution with Medica. We offered some additional ideas of as far as the narrow network. We made sure that Saunders Medical Center was also a part of that narrow network, knowing that that would affect us.
A 13-month rate guarantee.
Yeah, so we also then negotiated to get it back to a 1/1 renewal date, a 13-month rate guarantee with no additional increase in the cost or the rates. Plus, in the meetings we did last year, not only did we do them during the day, we came in here, we did night meetings and invited the spouses of the city employees to come and attend that, because we knew moving carriers might be, after being with Blue Cross for a long, long time, might be kind of stressful. We did look, it was mentioned at the
Last meeting.
Yeah, at the last meeting about that agent, Eric would buy you guys ease if you made him your agent. I won't go into maybe some of the, whatever that.
But a year,
But we did mention that a year ago. We looked back through our notes that we did offer ease as well. That is something that we already offer to our clients.
But in doing the renewal, you just are telling all your employees you're going to from Blue Cross from years to a new carrier. We thought that was an overload to do.
And ease was that online enrollment platform, to be more specific. I know you guys have had to deal with a lot. So I feel like we did a pretty good job last year at the renewal, and then this year when we came in and we did our pre-renewal meeting in October, I didn't actually have the renewal at the time, but I was pretty sure it was going to be in that 7 to 8% range, and it ended up being right there. But we did a full marketing of every line of the benefits that we're currently the agent on. And it did take a while to get all that back, but even as I was driving down here for the last meeting, I was continuing to work directly with all of those carriers that wanted in on it to try to negotiate you guys the best deal possible. And I think, we had rate guarantees, we had some decreases in rates. I think we wanted to stay with Medica, so I was still trying to negotiate them. So we did go from an 8% down to a 3% overall. We had the Medica rep here at our meetings yesterday. We had some of the wellness things. And then along with that, the ancillary lines, we had taken all of those to market. So those would be lines like life insurance, voluntary life insurance, long-term disability, dental and vision. We took those rates then and went back to principal and negotiated decreases as well as marketed some changes in benefits. We did a lot of benchmarking at our meeting in October. So I guess the point I'm trying to get is, I think we've done a pretty good job, especially the last 3 years. So that's all. I just wanted to make that point, and you guys are going to do what you're going to do. But any questions for me?
For either one of us.
The title, is this consideration of agent of record. What does that mean?
Well, that part of the agenda, I didn't realize, we are the agent of record right now.
Okay.
So there is, I wanted to get on the agenda more or less to say, hey, I'm sitting there back saying, hold on, you know, I'm my brother, and I love my brother to death, but we're not always gonna be see eye to eye and everything. So I couldn't say anything because it's an agenda item. So I wanted to give the agenda just so you guys could understand that, you know, we're here, we're local,
Yeah.
we're here. So when I read that tonight, I thought, well, that's probably not what we're after because we are the broker. And the only way it's not the broker if you choose to go a different route. That's your guys' choice, but
Okay.
there's no tonight. It's not changing because we are the broker of record right now.
Yeah, I didn't know this designation lifted you higher or better or whatever.
No, it did not.
Yeah.
He would think that, but no.
That was probably all on me, because
Well,
like I
that's
said,
not a problem.
You just-
I
you
just,
just
this
said-
changed
Yeah.
from Eric to Mike on the agenda, so I'm sorry.
Sorry, I accept your apology.
okay.
No, but thank you. That's
Yeah.
all we had to say.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming,
Thanks
I
for
really
that.
do.
So,
Taking no action changes nothing.
yeah,
Basically.
okay, well, we'll not take any action tonight. If it needs to come up, it'd be for somebody to bring it up, so, okay. Approval of resolution 2023-29 declaring items of surplus. There's items there, nothing real major. We're trying to keep up with our inventory. I know at department head meetings, it's asked every time, what new equipment have you purchased, so we keep that up to date, and what is surplus. So we're trying to keep those pretty close to accurate. I think they are. Yeah. So. Those items are listed there. If there's any questions.
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, any other comments? Roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Krejci,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Rappel.
Yes.
Okay, number 3, finally, the approval of resolution 2023-30, signing the year-end certification of street superintendent.
This is just a certification saying they did what they were supposed to do, which they
And you're
did.
telling us that they did?
They did, yes.
Oh, well,
So,
motion to
okay,
approve.
yeah, I'll second that.
A second.
Accomplished.
Who seconded? Okay.
Okay. Any comments? Roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Krejci.
Yes.
Number 4, approval of a proposal for the downtown area to be re-designated as blight and substandard.
I don't like this sound.
Do we have to redo that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me just offer a little explanation, and then I can get into the actual agreement. Every year, the Department of Economic Development offers various CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, pockets of money or buckets of money. One of those is downtown revitalization. And it's something that I've always looked at as, oh, we should apply for this, we should apply for this. But there are several things that have to be done in advance of that to be able to really have a successful application and check the boxes on the form. So in 2024, I'm assuming, although they haven't made any announcements, I'm assuming because it's been this way for several years, grant applications would be due September 15th of 2024. In order to be eligible for CDBG, you have to meet one of two standards. You either have to be meet a low to moderate income qualification, which we don't. We're a fairly well-off community, so we don't meet that. Or you have to have areas declared blight and substandard. If you dig into the slum and blight documentation that's required as part of a CDBG application, it very specifically says, to be eligible, the local government must officially designate the area slum or blight within the last 10 years of the current program year. So our only designation of the downtown to meet this criteria was done in 2000. So our study is fairly old, And that's why I am coming to you this evening. I would like to work on a downtown revitalization grant application to be filed in September. There's, the maximum amount is somewhere in the $400,000 amount. It's a 25% local match, but I think the timing for this is actually really good. We're making an investment in the water line. We have collected a lot of data on our sanitary sewer infrastructure, our stormwater infrastructure. We adopted the microTIF program for some of the lower valued properties. And I think that we would be able to submit a very successful application. The application has a scoring. There's scoring for like community support. We would need to get public input on exactly what a downtown revitalization plan might be for us, whether that is solely infrastructure in the form of sidewalks or streets, or whether that's storefront upgrades, or what are the priorities of the community. That was something that would be designated in that planning aspect of a downtown revitalization program. But in order to do that, we're not even eligible unless we're declared blight substandard in the downtown area. So I asked Jeff Ray, who has worked on several of our other blight and substandard designations, to give me a proposal to provide an update. He provided this to me today, and I did get it in the packet. If you're not comfortable with moving forward with it tonight, we can wait until our next council meeting. But he would do a downtown walk. He would review the area for the characteristics or the requirements of blight and substandard. We would officially designate the area. Right now, the area I think is about 3 blocks wide, closer to Chestnut, and then as you get down towards the ball field, it narrows down to 2. So we would look at the area and make sure that the boundaries are as we want them to be. They would prepare a draft report, so the price that he has quoted is $7,200. I think our last blight and substandard study was where the Phelps property was on the west side of town, and I think that was in the $15,000 range. That was something that the developer there was interested in participating in.
And to apply for this grant, we need to have a current study.
The only way we're eligible is either LMI or we have a current designation of blight substandard. So
We've gone a long time now.
what's that?
What was the last time? You said it was
2000.
2000.
And that was our initial study.
Okay.
And honestly, legislatively, I've participated with the league in some of the conversations they have about TIF, tax increment financing, and redevelopment, and this is becoming kind of the standard. How do you know that you're still blight and substandard if you haven't done a study in 25 years, right? Or 22 years, whatever. And so I don't know whether it's engineers or the planners getting on board with the legislators, but
do more studies.
Do more studies, right? I don't think that doing this is a bad thing, even if we would be unsuccessful in a grant application.
We seem to have gone back and needed this definition on quite a few occasions, and it's been helpful to have this designation in our downtown. I think it does make sense.
So again, I know that I got this to you late in the game for this council meeting, but I don't think the $7,200 is out of line.
No, I would agree. I mean, I would make that motion if you guys are comfortable with it.
I'm comfortable. I would second that as well.
Okay. Motion made and second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Krejci,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Sweet,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Warford.
Yes.
So just one comment on that. One of the things that I'm also going to be working on over the next month and probably bring to you is a plan for getting community input on exactly what we want in the downtown. Whether that's focus group meetings or surveys, I'm not exactly sure the best way to,
What we want, as in,
like, what the public wants in
Okay.
terms of what, you know, and I think that is a piece that we can fold into our street improvement that we're talking about doing, and maybe gather information on contacts for the water project. I think there's a lot of things that can roll into that. We've also talked about an update to our comprehensive plan, so that would be a piece that could roll into our comprehensive plan update. So
How do we do that and get more involved with
that's a good,
different people? I guess that's my thing.
Kick a
Like,
bear.
right there, that's what I'm sitting here thinking. Is that online? Like, no, because there's some people online that I don't know that that's what we want to do. I don't know. I'm just when you say that, I'm like, I would love that, but you know, we end up with the same 15 really big participants in this community, and those are the opinions we tend to get, right? I try to figure out how do we do that, but get to more people, more opinions, because I don't have. I mean, yes, I think downtown should be redone, but I'm not that creative, and I would love to hear more opinions from people about what they think that looks like.
yeah,
as we
I'm
move
same.
forward.
I feel like we're a community this big, and we hear from
Right,
this many,
that's
right?
my problem.
And
Right?
Yeah.
Out of
it's
5,000, we
right.
get, you know,
And so
15 people who speak.
What if we tried
I
doing
think
instead
chamber
of,
and downtown chamber would be the two obvious ones. Downtown
Sure,
chamber,
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Historically,
It
yeah,
affects most.
it's a
And I think
relatively new group.
it's about, I don't know, I will have to say, and the public engagement team that JEO has done some phenomenal work. And if you've seen any of their presentations they've presented at the league on some of the creative things that they've done to get that public involvement. I think in the Lead and Copper survey, Ryan has contracted with them, and Wahoo, because of the way that we've gone about this public engagement, is kind of a model that is being used across the state to get that public involvement. And so I'm actually tomorrow, I'm in Lincoln for a league meeting. I'll be meeting with the team and see if we can come up with some ideas. I think the public engagement has to be something that is, you don't just come and put a sticker on your wall and that's my public engagement. It has to be something where you make it a little bit fun, maybe a little bit allow for some creativity. And one of the examples they talked about in a community where they're looking at how they want a street laid out, they set out baskets of, here's a piece of street, here's a median, here's a sidewalk, here's the, what do you want? And you take this is the width of your street. Now you lay out what's important to you. You want a bike lane, you want a trail, you want trees, landscaping. And so it kind of makes it, there's lots of fun ways I think that you can get public engagement. It doesn't necessarily have to be hands-on kind of thing, but I think that their team has a lot of creative ideas that I'd like to tap into. So
Well, I know JEO hosted a focus group to just kind of talk about visioning, I think. And the names that they dropped were just a wonderfully new cross-section of names that you hadn't heard at other.
That's what
Other
I'm
events.
talking
Yeah.
about.
So,
I'm just trying to figure out how to.
That was exciting to hear that. And so I think even utilizing them to help putting something together, it's worth the investment if you're getting a great broad cross-section to get some input.
And I think, starting with the chamber and that group being an active group, I think that's a great place to start. But there are so many more people that have ideas about what they want their downtown to be, right? Not from a business owner or retail or professional services standpoint, but from what they want to see, what they want to go to, what they want it to be for their use.
If we're using public funds, what they want to pay for, right? Because that's where my head goes first. Like, I love the chamber. I love the chamber, the downtown. I mean, I think these are fantastic organizations, but they can't be the only ones you ask, like, hey, should we spend money down here?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like you want the chamber to take this information and communicate it back to the business owners and say, this is what the public wants to see downtown as you're determining how your investment dollars are
Right,
gonna.
right.
I think it's chamber and economic development both are really more energized than they've been since I've been here, 20 years, put it that way.
That's very good.
Another comment, and I haven't heard it quite a while, some people think we're too close to JEO. But when you think of everything that, since they've reorganized a little bit and have this development team, some pretty strong people on there. And, I mean, we'll talk about it in closed session a little bit, but what JEO, is trying to help us out with is, I think, phenomenal. The other thing is, Rob had a group of young couples, young individuals from Wahoo, probably about 10 or 12 couples and individuals that he met with to see what they see for the future of Wahoo. And he asked, will you be willing to allow me to submit your names to the city for appointments? Because we need volunteers all the time. And I think out of that group, there's 11 of them, some are husband or wife, that they have sent to us. We've sent an email out to those people, and we're starting to get replies, which committees you might be interested in, or council or whatever. Board of Works, airport, planning and zoning, all that, so. They do a lot for us.
Yeah.
So.
That was the group I was talking about. I mean, it was a very good cross section. Yeah.
Very cool.
And I guess I've kind of learned from our planning approaches that we've taken in the past. Sometimes they get very long and they very drawn out, and people lose interest and things change. You don't see what you've created until 6 months after you've provided your input, or a year sometimes. And so one of the things I'm going to be talking about with them tomorrow is we have to do a build-up, and so that people know that it's out there, commit 30 days, whether it's, from staff or 45 days, where our input and our collection effort is fairly intense, and then we're done. And then we move on to the analysis and the presentation side of it. And I feel like, we've tried in the past to work around, that's basketball season, that's football season, that's, we can't do that. We just have to move forward with a schedule that works for the city, and hope that people will understand that we want their input, and that their input is valued. So this is a start. Thank you.
Thank you.
We did vote on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. The last item is discussion regarding acquisition of property, and again, a suggested closed session. Carl, do you know what you say?
Make a motion to enter closed session for the protection of public interest due to the discussion of acquisition of property. And I'd like to invite Jovan and the mayor and Melissa and Christina if she'd like to join us.
Yeah.
Everybody else get out.
Carl's gonna make some decisions.
You're doing good at that. We do it every week.
Okay, roll call.
Warford,
Yes.
Nagel,
Yes.
Rappel,
Yes.
Franchy,
Yes.
Ideas,
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.